This is a demo on how you can pull together a view of all of the information of a particular subject using various means of displaying that data. In this case, we are going to focus on the clinical workflow demo of the clinical API. First, you must log into Cortellis Labs, click on the menu icon, and select Cortellis APIs. Click on the clinical API icon, and then in the gray box, select the Demos shortcut. Then click the Clinical Workflow link. On the Clinical Workflow Demo search web page, you just need to select one or more indications from the list of choices on the left-hand column. Under each indication is a list of subfilters to narrow the search down further. For our purposes, we will select the two filters under Fatigue. Next, in the center area of the page, click the Search for CI Drugs button to load the results of your query. In the center area, you will find the Investigational Drugs Drug Dashboard results. This data comes from passing the Get Drug Results operation of the Investigational Drugs API. To the left of this are the four available filters: primary and secondary indications, company, and highest phase of the drug. Please note that if you select an item in more than one filter, the displayed results are only for those drugs that match both filters. For example, if you select the highest phase of launched and the company of Pfizer, it will only display the results that match both items. So be careful of what you choose to filter with at this junction, as it could negatively impact your results. You can always reset the filters by unselecting them if you find this is causing a problem with the number of results available. For the purpose of this demo, we will just select the highest phases of launched, phase 1 and phase 3 clinical, and registered. Within the results, you can sort the data by any of the columns, or you can conduct a search to pull up just the data you're interested in selecting. At this point, you can individually select the preferred records, or you can click the Select All Drugs button at the top to select everything in the drugs dashboard results. Next, just click the Go to CTI dashboard to view the clinical API information from the selected API drugs dashboard results. This data comes from passing the Get Trial Results operation of the clinical API. On the clinical results page, over on the left, are small navigation buttons that allow you to toggle back and forth between the Investigational Drugs dashboard and the Clinical Trials dashboard without losing the actions you performed already. Therefore, if you need to change the records you want to review, you can go back and forth between the two dashboards to edit the results. In the main section on the page, you can now see the results displayed in a table from the clinical dashboard, where again the columns are sortable and the search box is available as well. Above the table of results are some of the available filters of the selected data. There are 6 filters, which include countries, indications, interventions and highest phases, terms, patient selections, and recruitment status. On each of the filters, you can hover over an item to see the number of available records for that filter, as well as click on an item to narrow down the results in the table below. The 6 filter graphs will also update based on your selections. As you click on items in one or more filters, you can see a green breadcrumb of those chosen filters right above the table. If you no longer want one of these filters, you can just click the X to remove that filter from the results, which will then reset the table and filter graphs accordingly. For the purposes of this demo, to narrow down the results, we will search for Lily and then sort by the number of sites. Once you're ready to view one of the records, just click the icon at the end of the selected row to view the full clinical trials record. This data comes from passing the Get Trial Record operation of the clinical API. Again, using the buttons on the left, you can toggle between the three dashboards to change the data as needed. On this page, you can view both the clinical record and the regulatory references for the selected record. First, you will see the title, a list of sponsors, and the current phase of the drug. After that, you can see the shortcut links to the various sections available from the record that you can quickly navigate to. As you can see in each section, you will notice that data is highlighted in green. If you click on one of these items, you will be taken to another demo for even more information. For instance, if you click on the company sponsor at the top, you will be taken to the company record. This data comes from passing the Get Company Record of the Investigational Drugs API. Connecting this data via these hyperlinks showcases how you can have multiple APIs connected in such a way to deliver the most complete set of results for your query. Besides the company record, there are other items that will take you to the investigational drugs record, such as the synonyms for the selected indication, links to the clinicaltrial.gov website, the drug design record, and the investigational drugs drug record, etc. Down the page, you can also browse through the various sections available in the clinical trials results data. The tracking information provides data on the trial, including the change history and the indications. The protocol and outcomes describes the aim and scope of the trial and provides the outcome measurement descriptions. As noticed in this section, some of the data is hidden for space, so you just need to click the plus sign to expand out the rest of the record. The next section provides more details on the recruitment information of the trial. This includes patient criteria and inclusion and exclusion and eligibility information. The site information lists out data on the trial sites and comes from passing the Get Trial Sites operation of the clinical API. If you click on the site name, that site will open up in Google Maps. On the right, you can see the total number of trial sites listed. The cross-references section provides data on the drug, company, indication, and action, including hyperlinks to other demos such as the investigational drugs drug record, the company record, both for the investigational drugs API, the drug design record, which is from the drug design API, and it has outside links to places such as the ICD-10 record and the MESH record. The last section is on the regulatory information and comes from passing the Get Regulatory Results operation of the regulatory API. This section has a table display, just like in the investigational drugs dashboard, with a set of 3 filters on the left to narrow the results: country region, document type, and document category. Once you have chosen a record, you can click on the green icon to the left of the selected row to view further data from the record, including the source information and the abstract. There is also a link to the regulatory record demo, which comes from passing the Get Regulatory document of the Regulatory API. The Clinical API provides access to manually curated information on clinical trials, conferences, press releases, and journal articles. The Clinical API has Get Results operations for each content type and corresponding Get Record operations to retrieve the full records and associated information. As you can see through the clinical workflow, you can display the data in various pie charts, bar graphs, country maps, etc., all within one interface. There are also various ways to narrow down the data, eventually going directly to the individual clinical trials and/or investigational drugs drug record.